I mean, one of them could have ran and picked them up on their shoulders and ran. Cunha and FS are going to be the last two players up, and they don't know what to do in this position. This is going to be a hard zone to get into for sure for them.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of teams are actually outside of zone. We're talking only just two teams themselves being in the zone. And Alpha 7, they're still alive. I'm looking at Royals of War and Team Liquid still battling it out on this north side. So every little nook and cranny, those teams found a spot, and now it's a matter of if they can keep hitting the shots. But Mythic, he sees you prone in there. It does not matter. That is essentially the number one assist player for the squad, showing that they're able to come in and get the shots down.
Oh, now Carrillo getting shot right in the leg. That would have been that hurt. So he's trying to figure out what to do here in this position. It's so crazy that even though Alpha 7, if there were any other team, they would have been out so long ago.
Yeah.
They still hold on.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the do or die send Team Liquid. There's actually no one really on the south side. I'm interested to see if they're able to stay alive, but Influence Rage, they left the nook and cranny jukes. They tried to fight Alpha 7. Unfortunately, down to just Federal now.
Federal getting popped in the wide open as Tonka was waiting for that. And that is Influence Rage gone. Royals of War still in the mix here as they're starting to push up NRG. That position that you talked about. I mean, you said that it was one of the best positions. It's working out really well for them. What do you think about this 3-1 split, though?
I mean, they have no support for Fade. Fade is essentially just trying to be that sort of thorn in the side for Royals of War. Maybe they don't even know he's there potentially, but now we're seeing it. Inco Gaming is making the aggression. Specs forcing the fight with the DBS, wins the 1v1. Big fight for the squad going on right now. If they can keep Inco on this eastern side of Rosshawk, they'll be able to have full control of the bridge, maybe getting him into the next zone.
You can see the nervous twirling of the hair in the player cams, man. These guys are really starting to feel it. Fate on the other side, all by himself, starting to throw some smokes. Oh, actually peeked that. I cannot believe it. He actually tried to take those shots.
See, one thing that I'd like to notice, he was throwing smokes down to, I think, try to run forward. He had 5 frag grenades in the backpack. If he was able to get that first, it would reap rewards for NRG. They'd know that, hey, this squad's down to just 3, maybe down to just 2. NRG, unfortunately, losing J7 somewhere, maybe on the Inco pull-up in the process. But this team now, with these opening knocks, they only have 2 eliminations. They got to work with this positioning to get up some more elimination points.
Cunha getting taken out there in the water, and there's Cardoso just hunting down FS. FS
Oh, wow.
and he saw him. There he goes. So he's popping in the water, trying to get some sight lines, and then he's going to keep on taking those shots. They got to watch out for their backs, though. That's for sure. It's not over yet. Will that nade do it?
Oh, wow. No, he threw a smoke juke. So the idea is you can see through the water with the smoke if he's in it, and we can see it right now. If you're in front of it, it's kind of like on Miramar. If you're near the edge of blue zone, you can get spotted through it relatively easy. So the squad themselves, he's actually just going to drown. So N Hyper out in 7th. I like their position. Team Liquid, though, the experience is just overwhelming.
Those guys just know what to do with those scenarios. Even when their back's against the wall, right? They just do not go out. So Team Liquid persevering through a very tough situation. We're down to the last 6 teams here in match number 1. Oh, Gofsky gets taken down by Cardoso. And that's all the way from this. Yeah, look at that.
Wow.
He barely peeked, and then as soon as he got that knock, hit the deck immediately.
And I believe they
Gofsky's too far away to get picked up, yeah.
I think they lost that 4th player early on to Alpha 7, I think you had called. So really hoping maybe they were a 4-man in this situation. It looks like they might go for the send. And Team Liquid, I mean, you already got a player, 1 HP, never mind getting a knock. I'm not sure if you could pull up on this rock juice.
No way, yeah. That was crazy. A very, very risky play. Did not work out for Furia right there. So they got eliminated, and that is just more points for the top team in the lobby. You can see this. Look, Team Liquid, Alpha 7, so close in points, and Alpha 7 is still not out of this.
Yeah, and I mean, they're just hugging it for the most part in the water and stuff like that. Royals of War getting the knocks on kept. So Team Liquid really just flexing this sort of uphill advantage. Mythic actually making sure that they don't get wrapped on. And we see the zone shift. NRG and Royals of War will be the focus. All these other swimmers and stuff like that, they'll be able to live a little bit longer. But I'm expecting Team Liquid to really start farming some of these squads.
Oh, yeah, and here they go. Mythic and Cardoson putting in work. They both have a tree to hug, and they are holding it tight. Oh, McGrellin pulling off some shenanigans in the water.
I mean, I like the idea, but Inko, that was one of the swimmers unfortunately getting eliminated. 5th place, I mean, if you're in that sort of top 8 players remaining, you think maybe you get more placements, but that's not going to be the case. NRG now to just fate. Rose of War. I'm liking this idea from Catgo that he's actually going to be swimming onto fate. Aragod could just shoot his teammate essentially in the water to get it, but here's Mythic behind him. The nade pool is starting to come out, and Rose of War, you're really hoping you don't get knocked. You hear it bounce next to you, and I mean, you're almost on the back foot here now.
Fate almost drowning, trying to pull off something. He now pops out. Not able to get his weapon out in time. So that's going to be it for NRG. Great position. It's the execution I think that they're still trying to figure out. Meanwhile, the consistent team of Rolls of War still up. Team Liquid in the mix. And you got Alpha 7. I don't know how they do it, but somehow still survive all the way up to the final zone.
Came out.
And he comes out, and he takes down Mythic.
I mean,
you can see the frustration. Look at that. Instant head scratch. Just like, oh, how could we let this happen?
Yeah, and I mean, you honestly just wish that the swimmer was on maybe the other side of the river where Fate was at so long ago. McGrellin, though, he actually gets back in the water. He understands that, you know, they're knowing that he's going to be on that rock or tree where Mythic was at. And for Team Liquid, now you're just playing towards the zone. This is the last shift juke, so it's going to shrink into nothingness. Really interested to see which squad comes out on top.
Grellin did pop out. Aragod was waiting for him. So now it's just Cardoson versus the duo from Royals of War. That nade looks pretty good. Is he going to hit the mark? Nope, just a little short. Oh, now he's got one of his own. But that was just short as well. Yeah, Cardoson, nothing he can do. On fire. Royals of War win match number 1. Beautifully done.
Yeah, and they were the team that was on that western side. They had to fight through Team Liquid and Alpha 7 on the north side. They had to work through NRG's split on Rosshawk. Beautiful execution out of the team. Really enjoyed seeing that last duo mindset coming into play.
I mean, man, look at that. Their logo proven true. Just right by the riverbanks, putting in some work. I love it. I mean, Taylor, you were the one that said you're going to see a big week from Royals of War, right?
Hey.
I mean, what do you want?
Speaking into existence, baby. Royals of War. It's hard to say who's my favorite, right? Because, I mean, after all, I am not biased on the desk, NA on top. But Royals of War is definitely a team that, man, I've been so excited to watch them play and their growth throughout the weeks, or I should say throughout the days, right? It kind of seems like a long time, but it also seems like a short time. It's weird how time is going when it comes to this series. But Royals of War, incredible job. And Enigma, you know, let's start off again. Royals of War, I want to elaborate a bit more. You made a great point. They had such a tough route going through Team Liquid and countless other teams, yet they made it happen. Talk to me about their route right from the start to the finish.
I mean, they had that sort of positioning on the north. They were playing edge. A lot of teams opted to rotate around it. They didn't play center like NRG did and stuff like that, and they had to fight through Team Liquid, I believe, picking up 1 or 2 elims. They fought through Alpha 7 elbow to elbow with them, and the big key play was them actually sending it all the way down to the river, forcing NRG's hand to really take the fight, and ultimately coming out on top to give them the best positioning in that zone.
Love it. Royals of War looking solid. And honestly, Hot Jukes, I felt this day, or at least map number 1 Arigo, this Wednesday was reminiscent of last Wednesday. You know, off the rip, stage 1, stage 2, we were losing not teams necessarily, but we were losing a lot of individuals. In fact, we lost our first team, which was a 9Z taking down SLR with a flawless win. Obviously not the result SLR wanted, but aggression. The 2 days off had these teams wanting to get back in and fight it out.
They were ready to sink their teeth at some Pubg Mobile action, and that's exactly what we saw here in match number 1. And, I mean, you can definitely see that same mindset in 2 teams, Team Liquid and Alpha 7, because those guys were in tough spots but just refuse to go down, no matter what the situation looked like.
Dude, that's so reminiscent of Alpha 7 that we can pull up at least 3 replays that come to mind of Alpha 7 alone being in situations where they should not win. And did they win, right? It's just that's the tenacity. Not only it is wild. Not only they have, but also Team Liquid. Second and third place for Team Liquid Alpha 7. That's the consistency we were talking about, and that's why they are leading as far as they are. Shout out to Royals of War for the victory. Can they consistently do that? That's the question. They're going to have to if they want to try to overtake first or second place. NRG Galaxy, though, great job from them. We saw a bit of an interview a little bit earlier talking about their recovery, what they were up to, but 7 points, not bad whatsoever. And also 9Z, again, a team that started off strong and, finished with 5 points. We'll take that, especially on not double points. But Hot Chicks, be bold. Be bold, right? 9 points. I felt that could have been a lot higher, especially from what I was seeing from them. They were taking teams down left and right.
Yeah, they started off so strong, just weren't able to get into that end zone. And you know what? I can't blame them because that was a very difficult last circle to hold. You have to find the right position, and usually those teams that were already there are going to have the big benefit. So I got to give B-Bold big props to start off so strong.
Royals of War in third place. They will jump up a spot. Enigma, good on them for doing so, overtaking the position. Death Wolves was just stat. Granted, that point spread from third to eighth, right? We talked about it. It's not that big. It does grow a bit the further you go down, but for first and second, no changes. Team Liquid still in first, Alpha 7 in second.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, they had an amazing game and stuff like that. Obviously, we've seen Team Queso dropping down the leaderboard a bit. I think they just lost players, a little bit too early on in those zones on rotation and stuff like that. But these teams in the top 8, a lot of them were showing promises in that first game. Furia, unfortunately, falling a bit off the ball, but Influence Rage, I really enjoyed their positioning on that north side. Unfortunately, kind of just falling apart in the 9 through 16 rankings. I mean, it doesn't really change too much here, unfortunately, Taylor, but with Hyper, I liked what I saw in that first match. Really wish it just equated to that end game, maybe that top 5 placement coming out of it.
Yeah, I know that's what they definitely wanted. They need that if they want to break into the top 8. No changes, no shifting. 9 through 16, all will stay the same. Obviously, some points, though, coming here and there. Definitely want to see some shifts when it comes to 9 through 16. But top 8, a lot of shifting around outside of 1 and 2, which is still Team Liquid and Alpha 7. But I'm excited for the 5 remaining games because Hotchix, again, that aggression was incredible. Zone, though, let's quickly touch on that. It was a pretty standard zone. You mentioned, obviously, that split with the river, which ended up, kind of playing a bit of a role all the way through to stage 8, and then ultimately the ending. But that zone being so standard, do you think that kind of aided in the aggression from almost every single roster on the battlefield?
I mean, they had to. They had no choice. I mean, I would have liked to see NRG just focus up as a team rather than playing the split stuff. I mean, they far away from the playing path. I think you're going to see a lot of teams just try to hunt down some vehicles and just get going into zone. El Hazar is wide open. I mean, all these places are just up for the taking.
Yeah, I would have liked to see NRG almost just instantly rotate to the north side. We know they like eating blue zone and stuff like that. They don't mind taking the damage, but if you got a zone like this, you got to at least get in and then maybe loot on the prime spots. Obviously, we see AGG around that center part of the map, but these teams, for the most part, you've really got to kind of wonder how other teams are going to rotate. I think we're going to see a lot of teams wait in blue zone and then make the full send play, kind of like we saw AGG in that first game. But it's got to be more, you got to find the right timing. You got to get the right knocks, and at the end of it all, you got to hit your shots.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that play, again, from AGG was just not a great one regardless, because you take that fight, you're going out timing-wise. So, yeah, timing is huge, and you can see Alpha 7. I think Alpha 7 are the kings of timing. They really are. If you look at their play style, it's just so crazy. They know when to fight, and then they also have the ability to go full-fledged turtle passive within half a second, if that's what it calls for. So it's so difficult to do as 4 players. I cannot stress it enough, right? One player, you can see do that, but at this level, if one player makes 1 second of a delay and of realization, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over, right?
And
yeah, like if you're playing Edge and you have to turtle and one player takes a shot, that gives away your whole team's position and you're donezo.
Yeah, I mean, you got to hit the shots. You got to get that opening knock. And I think that's why we saw a lot of teams when it came to the interviews in that first week talking about just individual errors. Because at the end of the day, all it takes is one person to put your team in a really horrible spot, especially if you're a team like NRG, if you're a team like Alpha 7 even though they were finishing, top 2 on the first week. Revo even said, we got to work on individual mistakes, but for the most part, they're feeling solid. You're looking at NRG, there's a lot more individual mistakes going on compared to the top 2 teams. So really just kind of up in the air for if these teams maybe are able to work on that through the tournament, or maybe it's just going to be a bit too much pressure for them currently.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what ends up happening here. There's still a ton of games left, guys. I mean, anything could happen. I mean, it's so difficult to gain ground on these top 2 squads when no matter what, they're putting up crazy points. Even when games that they're supposed to lose, like Alpha 7 should have been out of that game like circle 4. It's just they refuse to go down. And it's something that a lot of teams try to replicate but just don't even come close. And you can see, look at that.
Wow.
Shots. I mean, they spot you out for even a second and you're just gone.
I think we've seen this too in the week 1 competition. Titan Gaming they were fighting Alpha 7 at this compound, I'm assuming just for the car spawns, and now essentially with the 1v1 trade, but Agrellan having the sort of vehicle play, and Active's got to get active on this.
Yeah, and let's see if he can, but where's the rest of the team? Look at the difference, right? And Active is there to help, but the rest of Alpha 7 are ready to go, and look at that, they finally get there, but just that little tiny delay makes all the difference in the world. Alpha 7 are going to be ready to go. It's really up to Juancho, I think, on this off angle to hit a big knock for Titan Gaming.
Yeah, he's got to look at Mafioso here. He does see him, but shoots a little early. Maybe didn't know he was hugging the backside of the building. Now they're starting to work that eastern wall towards Juancho, and it's still kind of a dodgeball battle for the most part with these frag streaks, but these teams got to start getting connections, and Inactive going to be the first player gone for Titan Gaming. Now we're going to see the aggression of Alpha 7.
Yeah, here they come. Mafioso does get pieced up a little bit there. Juancho in a battle on that edge. Gets taken out from the back from Agrellan. Here comes Furia. They heard these shots. They say, hey, we want some of this action. Revo goes and takes out the rest of Titan Gaming, and now he has to turn his head towards Furia. They know who's fighting here. And honestly, if you're Furia, you want to take out Alpha 7. You don't want them putting more points on the board.
Yeah, and I mean, they had 2 opening knocks. Now they're taking the 1v1. Revo does get 1, but he has a DBS there. Maybe it makes wonders. Unfortunately, just 1 out of the pump. Alpha 7, they got the reset on McGrone, but still a 2v4 situation. I think you got to kind of just cut Mafioso and play for the fight. But Furia still having the upper hand in this fight.
Yeah, Adrian just got to be careful going out by himself right now. If he gets knocked, that is going to just totally destroy this push. So, yeah, just keep applying that pressure. Mafioso does go down. So now they know it's a 4v2. Kayovsky needs to get over here with his team, work it out, and Alpha 7, yeah, there's no way they should win this.
Yeah, and I was really worried. Kayowski moving really late, but I think he's going to make it just in time. Got to work the outside. Furia staying on the outside of the building, playing for their strengths, but Alpha 7, they got the prime nade. Almost knocks a Furia player. Now they're starting to have to make moves. Carrillo with the first knock of the DBS, making this somewhat of a fight here, Jukes. A lot of these people going for the pre-fires.
Carrillo especially. He's going to throw a molly right there for his teammate. He knows that it's coming. Is he going to give up that angle? Yeah, I think he realized that Kayovsky is up there. But now, because of that, they know it's a 2v2. Since one of the players is up on the hill, they can push this. Barely missing that shot. If that connected, that would have been brutal for Furia.
Yeah, I really feel bad because if Alpha 7 has the frag grenade there, maybe they can bounce it off the window, but only Molotovs to their name couldn't loot any of Titan Gaming. And now,
my gosh, are you kidding me?
They're making the push, but Furia just crumbling in the smokes. That's 2 knocks, 2v2 situation now. And the pre-fire again, almost getting Augusta, but Furia now kind of questioning this push here in the building.
The nade from Kayovsky finally comes on down. It's a clutch one. It's all up to Carrillo. He knows what he has to do. He's got to push this. He has a couple of first aids, but the clock is ticking. He has to go. No choice.
Yeah, I mean, they're going for the reset, but DBS in hand, the AK, I mean, you can't be holding that peak. A little bit of damage going down, but if he gets the opening, needs to. I mean, the TPP angle's hard, peeking that left side, just a little bit too much shoulder showing. Furia, unfortunately, I believe, losing a player, but nice play from them for the most part.
I mean, that was way too close for comfort. I mean, honestly, you saw, and I think they ended up finishing. Yeah, they got one of the players from Furia, so they did take another point. That's 5 eliminations for Alpha 7. You know it's bad whenever Alpha 7 went out, and you saw the look on the player's face, and they smiled. You know? Like, they weren't even mad, because they shouldn't have even gotten that far. It was way too close for comfort. Oh, it looks like SLR said, okay, Alpha 7, you couldn't take him out? We'll finish him off for you.
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, SLR actively went out of their way to kind of just hawk up on the mountains and stuff like that. They're full sending in. Can they make it in time before the reset? Mollies are coming out. A little bit of a missed nade. Now it's going to be 2 players up, but he gets the connections. Is Kowski even going to get this first aid off? A little bit of pre-fire, but 1v1 situation. Both players come in. Wait, he's whiffing a bit. Okay. I thought we were going to have a repeat again, but SLR being able to keep all 4 players alive. We also saw that zone shift, Jukes, going more central on that northern side of the zone. So this team, I mean, SLR, they got the marathon to run.
Yeah, I will say that was a beautiful push there from SLR. I mean, yeah, just you go into it the same exact time, and no matter what happens, you're going to make sure you get that confirmation. So, yeah, beautiful push, and hopefully a little bit of a sign of life there from them. I think all 3 of those eliminations were on the side of one player, though, right?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, it was all Koi, man. Koi has been stepping up for this team big time.
Yeah, he was kind of maybe a little bit irritated that first game, getting knocked first zone on rotation. He's like, let's just go to wherever these people are fighting and try to just get some points on the board. And thankfully for them, they were able to pick up, I believe, 2, if not 3 of those eliminations on the Furia, so nice work from them. But unfortunately, the game isn't played outside of zone. There's a lot of people still moving on the inside, so and Hyper, never mind. We're fighting in blue zone again, Jukes, and Hyper versus Inko.
Oh, man, this is all the way down south, so this is not in the zone at all. It's stage 2, so you can't afford to eat a little blue, but this fight's just not helping out anybody. It may be worth it just to give it up, focus on position.
Yeah, I was talking about these teams wanting to just stay in blue zone at the start of Miramar, but if you're making these pushes, 2 knocks actually from 7 on the pull-up, so big win for Inko on the back foot. I believe they might be able to get a reset off onto Vitali, and Hyper, they had the opening knock here, Jigs, just crumbling under the pushes.
Yeah, I mean, they have to... And Hyper are always looking for that advantage, and there's sometimes, or not even sometimes, a lot of times, at this level, you just gotta commit. You gotta take the risk, right? You have the man advantage, you gotta just depend on your gun skill, full send it, and make the play. If not, you're gonna lose players, and we're seeing that happen right after N Hyper.
Yeah, and we're seeing kind of the difference between these 2 squads. We'll be seeing the push now from Inko Gaming, probably onto Star here. If not, I mean, they have the pickings to choose from, actually turning their eyes to FSS maybe, and I mean, with Inko Gaming, when they were getting pushed, Nenabete was in the back with Overwatch, but now Starlight's not going to be able to make that sort of same impact. FSS now all alone on the back of the building.
Oh, boy. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, it's 7 still trying to make something happen, and they're just punishing Ken Hyper. This is like one of those situations where it's just like a very needless battle, from both sides. And what a shot. That is N Hyper eliminated. And that one went with the lesson right there.
Yeah. Don't be holding us in blue zone. We are not trying to deal with this. They didn't even lose a player on that altercation, which is kind of scary for N Hyper. That's a big kind of mental blow where you don't even finish someone. Like, you're going with 0 out of Miramar. And this is the longest match. You're sitting there on stage for, 30, 40 minutes just thinking of all the errors that went wrong. So, unfortunate to see. We're seeing Influence Rage now. They're on this northeastern side of zone here, Jigs, having to work their way in. A lot of these teams starting to kind of start eyeing each other for the next position.
Yes, they are. Let's see. All Glory Gaming keeping an eye out for sure. Deathwolf's on the move. There's NRG. Spec all by his lonesome. NRG rocking the 4-man split once again. And the thing is this, right? Splits, I will say, are okay in situations like this, right? Because you want to be able to get a little bit of the lay of the land. You want to be able to get some, some info. But they're too split apart. Yeah. They're so split that if one gets a knock or if one gets pulled up on, They do not have the ability to help. Did Death Wolves just recognize that he is by himself?
It looks like it a bit. Maybe they're just kind of reposition. Maybe they just clown stack the car. It's like they're going to rotate more into zone. I mean, the zone shift is happening, so maybe they were able to scout a spot in. And for the most part,
shot.
I thought NRG was going to be taking the city like this, but Death Wolves recognizing the city's free. This is one of the prime real estates in the zone. Free rotation for him.
Look at this. Federal and Influence Rage are starting to pull up on Spec. Oh, Spec was able to hop in the vehicle and leave just in time. And honestly, it was good that he did. He had no business being that far away from his team.
Yeah, you can't be playing chicken at this point. Influence Rage is the team where this is the spot and zone we're playing. If there's a solo, we're just going to absolutely steamroll you. So Spec coming down there. He actually opted to go, I believe, below the church in Cruz de Val. So NRG having a nice spot now in zone, but a lot of these teams opting to stay around the edge of zone, not sending it in just yet.
All right, you are. And let's look at the top teams in the lobby. Let's see what they're up to, right? What is their strategy going into this? And the top one's going to be Team Liquid. And what are they doing? All four so close together, literally right next to each other.
Oh, there they are.
Dead center in the map. And look at that. Yeah, could they split right now? Absolutely. But they know that at this level, why is the point off? Yeah, they get blessed with this circle. Now it's time to just shoot at anything that moves.
Yeah, and my only interesting point is kind of what does NRG choose to do? Because you just kind of kowtowed to Influence Rage on the north side. Are you going to have to do the same thing again? Or are you going to go into Cruiser and wait a second. Oh, not like this, please. Don't do Spec like this.
Spec's on top of the church. He is looking around. Oh, he's so wide in the open.
Man.
Chief is just waiting. And now, they 1-2-3'd him. They 1-2-3'd him. Yeah, so you could see Team Liquid. What they did was they all spotted him and they said 1, 2, 3, shoot. And barely missed him. And I guarantee you, if they got that knock, he was getting thirsted.
Oh yeah,
100%.
No. He's on the roof. I mean, he almost fell off the church onto their sort of sight line. So thankfully for him, they weren't able to connect too many shots. But that kind of goes back to game one. I'm kind of just wondering, if he had an M4 there, maybe he hits those shots. That is the prime gun that all competitive players use for those types of sprays. It's just a matter if you find it. These teams, I was talking about it earlier, Influence Rage now aggressing onto the NRG squad once again.
Oh boy. Let's see how this goes down. Federal on the move. Barely making it downhill. His vehicle got beat up in the process. Trying to gain a little bit of momentum. Okay, now they're starting to head that way. Spec is at the church by himself. And it's one of those positions that, you have a high sight line, but the risk of getting pulled up on is so high. We'll see what happens. His little boy gets a nice shot, but Death Wolves right there to step over him.
Yeah, they had an opening knock on the law on the outside, and they're like, hey, we're just going to completely ditch the city sort of compound we had for free. Let's just go for the elimination points. Team Queso, though, they were able to hear this sort of aggression going on, now pulling up themselves. This is one of those sleeper teams, Jigs, in that middle of the pack, a little bit of a more quiet start to week one. I'm interested to see if Team Queso can start putting things together.
Let's see if they can. Silence looking to get loud here with those nades. He's starting to throw them down range. But after that, he's going to back off because NRG is in the mix here. Oh, now Royals of War getting punished. Tonka goes down. Cold Goat is in the smoke on the run as Inca, All Glory Gaming, just waiting for him. Royals of War getting picked apart.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's just you're in this ditch. Inco has those sort of nade ranges from the other side of the road. It's all just a matter of waiting the smokes out. At some point, you are going to run out of that backpack utility. It's more just if AGG maybe oversteps a bit, missing the run over, you can't be worrying about this player too much because Inco Gaming might just peek over and shoot you.
Yes, they can. Let's see what happens. We're seeing teams get eliminated like crazy. Now there's 10 squads remaining. Vicdex getting caught from the edge. Yeah, not much he can do for the rest of his squad. Aragod's on the way by this rock, getting shot by Inco, and he is not leaving that rock alive.
Yeah, I mean, AGG will spot him eventually. Inco Gaming's holding down the other side, and the issue is he has the bus, but you can shoot underneath it, especially if you're at that sort of eye level. It's only a matter of time, and yeah, there he goes. Unfortunately, Royals of War, they had a decent spot, maybe just got there a little bit too early. allowing other teams to rotate around you, but the zone shift's about to happen any second, and it goes right up to NRG. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of squads around them to deal with.
Yeah, there's a lot of squads, but that's also a lot of opportunity, right? I mean, this could be your big chance to put up some big points. Do not squander it. You don't get zones like this very often, so All Glory Gaming, Inco Gaming are going to be outside of the circle. Those are the two teams that are going to need to push in from here. Team Liquid, the top team in the lobby. No eliminations yet, and they don't mind it. They're all about that positioning, baby. They are holding it down in that compound right there, just waiting for the zone to come to them.
Yeah, same thing as game one. Even if the zone shifts off them after this, they have a prime enough real estate position, they can work into the next zone. I'm not too worried about that squad whatsoever. I'm more worried about for the other teams, if you allow them to kind of keep that four-man up, what kind of havoc they can reap on the lobby. But Team Queso now looks like they're actually down to a solo from this early aggression, trying to third-party that fight early on. And NRG, unfortunately, they lost another player early on, down to just 3. No eliminations from the squad.
Oh, boy. Let's see what happens here. Cardi C goes down in a close quarters fight with SLR. Maybe this could be a little bit of that life SLR has been waiting to breathe into here, since that's 4 eliminations, 3 players up. Well, I don't think he's down, but what can they do as a 3-man?
Yeah, I mean, they
need every point they can get.
Yeah, they have a nice spot in zone. My only issue is influence rages across the road. If Team Liquid turns their eyes on you, they're across the street. You're looking at maybe even 11, 12 players shooting your vehicle. So it's going to be a matter of if they can actually make it into this next zone shift, or if they're going to get stuck in the city.
Man, Team Liquid a problem in these buildings. Ayala getting some nice knocks with that mini, getting some confirmations as well. So, almost got the confirmation, but wasn't able to. So you can see Team Liquid just playing keep away. There's J7 against Potro, able to get the finish. So that is Team Queso eliminated. NRG starting to wake up. Fate is done for in this match. But there's still 3 remaining players, all split once again.
Yeah, and I've been told that from the squad NRG, they actually like having J7 make a few calls as well. Another experienced player maybe making some late-game IGL calls. With Fate, though, I'm really wanting to see this sort of positioning come through for NRG a lot tighter, because at some point, Fate's got to open up that map and say, hey, we're allowing way too many things to go down. We're just soloing, ISOing ourselves out. And in these late zones, everyone's going to be gunning for that first knock.
They're the only team right now that is playing as 3 solos.
Jeez.
That is it. Every other team is playing together, making pushes together, or holding a position together. They're the only ones that are just by themselves, just trying to make plays solo. And that used to work so well.
Yeah.
You know, back in, Season 2, Season 3. But the meta has changed to where if a team realizes that you're that split, they're setting the whole squad against you.
Yeah, and we're seeing squads make moves right now. 9Z, this is a team that Dave thought was going to really pop off on that day 5. Unfortunately, wasn't the case. Now they're getting aggressed on by Inco. They're getting pushed up by Entity 7 of all teams, really gatekeeping you. And now we're seeing it. The teams that make those splits late in the game, Team Liquid, starting to accumulate a lot of the zone.
Oh yes, they are. And there's Ayala with that mini. It's just, that's the weapon to have here in Miramar. They are putting in work, and you can see him instantly just getting that quick point. All right, back to home base.
Yeah. Oh, wait. A little bit of a taxi trip.
You need some loot, buddy? I got you. I got some right over here.
I think they're going to look to 2-2 split it. They know that Inco Gaming's down to a trio, so if Inco Gaming pulls up, someone's going to be driving the vehicle. It's a matter if he can get those shots down when they start pulling up. And this is the team, full level 3 gear. None of it's even touched, Jude. So you're knowing that they were just sitting in those buildings, only taking shots when someone's not looking at them.
They feel so untouched right now. That is for sure. They're feeling very good. On top of the leaderboards by a massive lead. The next team alive next to them is, I think, over 100 points behind. So they can just have their way with the lobby. Yeah, 2-2 splitting here. That just shows confidence. When you are, because normally I don't think they would have made this play, and you can see them getting punished for it right now. Mythic's going to try to hold it down by himself, though. Maybe he's trying to get some more points. And, look at that. Wow. Now all the way from downtown, the assist. And Mythic getting that confirmation. He wants that MVP. That's what it is.
Yeah, the scary thing, I really feel bad for Inko because an AGG player actually drove in and shot one of the Inko players on the push. Thankfully for them, they were able to get the trade, but Team Liquid really kind of getting a bone thrown to him unless Nenabete just beams you with the mini. Now he's having to make the run in, but if you're Team Liquid, you already got someone on the move to support you. Great play out of the squad, and for Inko, I like the idea. It's just you're never expecting a solo to stop and shoot you.
I mean, it's just Team Liquid. They're just having fun. Literally,
Yeah.
You can just see the play style. They're playing so loose. If they were really wanted this bad, they would have set the whole team way earlier. But instead, they're just having fun with it. Yeah, the next team is Influence Rage, and that is a, 127-point difference?
Wow.
That is insane. SLR, a good, solid 250 points away. And they're starting to put in the work on Influence Rage. Here they go, busting out the mollies. Federal barely able to hang on there. He's going to start throwing some smokes just to try to maybe make things a little bit more difficult for SLR. Who's going to win this battle? This is all the way on the north side. Oh, beautiful pre-fire. Predicted. Calculated play there from Federal.
Yeah, I mean, 2v2 situation now, INF does not have any sort of eliminations, but outplay of the century. Little window angle peek. I mean, for the most part, 1v2 doesn't matter. Amazing stuff out of the squad.
Brutal.
Pre-fires, window hops, 2v1s. I mean, it's just textbook plays. And I was going to say, I'm liking SLR spot with their early eliminations. They're already warmed up, but unfortunately making the oversteps. Now 9Z taking the fight with Entity 7 with NRG looking down on.
There you go. 9Z collecting some free points down there. Very, very nice. Now they're going to have to battle against NRG. NRG on the edge of the zone. They got to start pushing here. They got 40 seconds on the clock. They have the man advantage. They need to just push, secure this location, and get into zone.
Yeah, the problem is J7's too far split. I don't know if they're able to keep track of 9Z being a solo, and I mean, we're taking pod shots across the zone. We got to be looking in. We got to start going in.
That's one of the worst things you could do is you don't want to bring any attention to yourself when you're so far out of zone.
Yeah.
You know, like you're just telling everybody, hey, shoot over here. There's no way I'm going to get in zone. Now, J7 has a good position, but if the rest of the team was here, they could put in some work. But by himself, he's going to have to be careful.
Yeah, Influence Rage, I mean, they could run up the hill and possibly fight J7. We're looking at, I believe one of the NRG players was maybe thinking of challenging Ayala on that center zone. But if you're the squad, I know you got 4 eliminations and stuff like that, but you really got to keep playing textbook level Pubg Mobile, or else you're going to start falling apart.
It's back. Get to your team.
Get in there.
Get in there. Drive. Come on. Get to the squad. Survive. There goes Diego on the drive. Getting knocked out by J7. Beautiful shots. Federal is stuck, and they know it. So, yeah, Spec is able to make it to their team. They will have a 3-man, very well set up. Federal should not even be able to make it into this next zone.
Yeah, I mean, he maybe has a bit of breathing room, but as soon as that zone closes, you really expect NRG to kind of just drive down as a duo. Maybe J7 overwatches and get that early elimination, because if you get this elimination onto the player right now, you'd have this full western side you'd be able to wrap around, but every second you give, it allows Team Liquid to set themselves up, and I mean, for the most part, they control 90% of the zone right now.
Yeah, I think Team Liquid's just having fun at this point. They're not stressed. They're like, yeah, we did enough for this game. We're going to continue to be in first place. So, yeah, you can see them starting to keep an eye on Simple. Simple goes out, so now they have the entire south side to themselves. NRG is waiting so long to just take out Federal that, yeah, it is letting Team Liquid have fun with this. They can't afford even a single knock, and it does not happen. So, J7 gets that elimination, and now Spec, again, sending it off by his lonesome. He's going to start trying to get a little bit of intel for his squad. But NRG, I think, just too split for comfort. They're going to have to hit some shots. They can win this, even as a split, but they have to get some crucial knocks.
Yeah, I mean, the issue is just Team Liquid already holds that sort of crown position in the middle, Sis stage 8. So as soon as this closes, even if you have these off angles, as long as Ayala doesn't get knocked, you're going to have trouble as soon as that blue zone starts touching your back. So NRG, definitely the ones on the back foot. With it being a 3v3, though, it's going to come down to who hits those shots and who's able to get the knocks.
I mean, if the whole team was there with J7, they could just push down together, you know?
Yeah.
Spec on this off angle was crazy. It's a little bit tough There goes J7 with some shots onto Chief with the 3X, but I think Chief did. Oh, look at the ammo.
Oh,
13.
man.
13 5.56 round. That has got to hurt. He needs some support. The squad is going to have to group up here because with what he has left in the bank, he's going to have to get into some CQC action.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, as soon as you said that, I was thinking,
set up.
He's got it set up, but the issue is the setup really worth anything? If J7's got no ammo, I'd honestly want to make the play onto Ayala, and maybe Spec's doing that right now, but all these, I mean, we're kind of looking for the information game, and Team Liquid's just vibing. They're watching you kind of look like chickens with your head cut off or stuff like that. Maybe there's an idea of the mastermind behind it for NRG, but I mean, we see it right now. I'm loving Team Liquid spot a lot more than NRG's right now.
Yeah, I mean, if NRG had that vehicle and they were able to crest that hill, they could try to push and do a little bit of a 1v1 or a 3v1, and then they'll be just in a big advantage. It's just going to be hard to pull off, though, because Team Liquid are so good, and they are just keeping an eye on every single position. If they even see a slight move, they're going to take shots. And look at that. Ayala, the trigger discipline, right? He is just trying to give NRG a little bit of false confidence, hoping that they peek out, and then he's going to take those shots. But Malaz is now going to push down the buggy. This is what I was talking about. The whole team can push. Whoa, going down the middle. Very interesting.
Yeah, but
that could work out.
It's just him, and Chief's got the low angle. Ayala kept one frag grenade. He's going to be the main focus, and it doesn't matter if you're in zone jigs, if you're just going to get knocked. Now it's down to just J7 and Spec, and look at this. Team Liquid doesn't have to move a single step, still holding the spots they had in the last zone. NRG now forced to start hitting shots.
Yeah, you can just see the cohesion, right? I mean, Team Liquid are just set up, working together. NRG looking like they're kind of playing like three solos, you know?
Yeah.
Every single one with different ideas, trying to make something happen by themselves. And it is so hard to beat a team that is just focusing and playing as a unit. Now you got Cardozo leading the way, but even then, he's not going to risk it. He throws a molly, burns Spec. He's going to start peeking now, free fire a little bit. And, he says, you know what? I'll just win this game by myself. Don't even worry, guys. Easy chicken dinner there for Team Liquid.
Yeah, I mean, they wrap around the zone. They keep Ayala right in the middle, and for the most part, Chief just hits the first opening knock onto the NRG squad. So really just shows the level of confidence that this team has as a team, even as a three-man. Now, you know it's a 3v3 situation at the end, but this squad is just levels above everyone else.
Oh, just too good. Too good. Taylor, right? Team Liquid really needed to win that game.
Yeah, they needed it desperately. Without that, they probably wouldn't be in first place. They could have dropped down to 5. Really, Team Liquid, their composure is unreal. They're sitting in that final zone. Even before they were in the 1v1 against NRG Galaxy, you could tell how comfortable they felt in the position that they were in. They really weren't too concerned with anything that was going around them. They're calm and composed, which is total opposite of what NRG Galaxy was, I feel. They were trying to open doors that didn't necessarily need to be open. You kind of question those pop shots from a distance onto one of the Team Liquid members, I believe Mythic at the time, where Team Liquid, they're already in zone. Energy Galaxy needs to get into zone, but they're still doing those pop shots that aren't going to amount to anything. Ultimately, J7 runs out of ammunition, right? I think it's down to like 16 bullets. It's just mistakes like that don't make sense to me. And then also, Malaz pushing with the car to center zone, and then pauses and runs back and forth literally between Team Liquid members. It just comes to show to me that I don't think NRG Galaxy really knows and understands certain positions where they're currently at. So, like, if they're in that final zone 1v1, it's like, do they really have a game plan? Is there communication taking place? Is the IGL really directing the troops? But I do take a step back. Second place is still something to be celebrated, and 6 eliminations is very solid. Going all the way to the beginning, though, Enigma, we had these third parties taking place, man. It was Titan Gaming, Alpha 7. Then Furia rolls up, and then SLR finishes off Furia. Walk me through that series of events.
Hey, I mean, for the most part, it looked like maybe just a contest for the compound or the vehicle, and then it turned to a 4v4, and then Furia almost butchered the 4v2 onto Alpha
Right?
7.
Almost.
And then afterwards, what I really enjoy is that the last 2 teams, Furia and SLR, they looked like they played that textbook perfection. Furia, they did the homework. They knew where that fighting would happen. They came in for it. SLR, though, already thinking that as well, choosing to just hop around the whole entire compound, being able to get 2 opening knocks, and for them, being able to pick up early eliminations. Now, unfortunately, though, I know, Jigs, we saw it on stream. I need to ask you again, what the heck happened at that fight by the church? Influence, Rage, SLR, 3v2, and they just absolutely butcher it.
They're just better. They're just better. What can I say, right? I mean, I think SLR is kind of in the same boat. They're just kind of playing as solos rather than really playing as a unit. And that's a hard thing to get a hold of, you know. And hopefully they get it, you know, in this tournament. But just hopefully sooner rather than later, right?
Yeah, there's that last. But like you push, and then you put yourself between Chief and Ayala. Like it just didn't make sense to me. Like I know he wants to get positioning, but like did he really know what positioning he wanted Cardozo though? In that play, it was just like, oh my lord. Whether it's Alpha 7 or Team Liquid, I mean they really are in a league of their own. Like, and that's apparent in multiple fights in positioning as well. All Glory Gaming though down there in 8th place. Shout out to them for 10 points as a whole, 9 eliminations. I mean, you talk about a stellar game. SLR, despite maybe some mistakes, still pick up 6 elims, getting a total of 8 points. And Eco Gaming also a team that we pointed out like to potentially do very well alongside that of Royals of War who don't. But Eco Gaming still walking away with 7. So, you know, you can make the argument that teams that we've been talking about are doing fairly well and still consistently getting enough points. But again, that Team Liquid, I mean, Alpha 7, like they're just in a league of their own and doing good jobs. I mean, for goodness sakes, 15th place for Alpha 7, but still picking up 5 points, right? I mean, that's, you know, Hotchix, we talk about it, like 5 points is still better than a lot of other teams are doing in higher places.
Yeah, I mean, even Royals of War is trying to catch these guys. I mean, when you put a 1-point game up and Alpha 7 goes out early, right? And they still put up 5, then that kind of negates that last game that you did. So it's just crazy to see. I mean, look at the leaderboards. Yeah. It's just getting crazy.
And for the first time, we don't have any movers, 1 through 8, right? Everything stays the same, minus the points, obviously. You know, some teams increasing, but the placements themselves will stay put where they currently are. A point spread, though, from 3rd place down to 5th, still very, very close, and even closer from 6th to 8th. So definitely some moving around to be done in the remaining 4 games. 1st and 2nd stays the same. We take a look at 9 through 16. However, do we have any movers on this page? We don't.
None.
So game number 2 doesn't change anything on the overall rankings. Game 3 might be a different story, but still a fun game to watch nonetheless, but it does raise a lot of questions. And one team we didn't talk about, Hotchix and Hyper, trying to hold Eco in blue, they lose miserably. In Hyper, what could they have done better in that position against Eco?
You just avoid that fight, baby. You don't even take it. Yeah, you just avoid it. I mean, there's a big understanding of, like, there's a higher level of understanding from these top squads, you know?
Right.
And especially as you get towards the global championships, there's teams that realize it's just not worth fighting. It really isn't. Like, they will make a handshake agreement, literally. They'll look at each other and be like, yeah, why are we fighting right now?
Right.
Even if I win and take you out without anybody, I'm going to go out immediately after. Like, hey, let's work together to get into zone. Even if they both teams focus on the edge teams together as an 8-man, get into zone, and then fight each other. It makes sense, right? So it's not teaming, it's just smart. You got to do what you got to do to win.
Hey, you know, a great example is Team Liquid in that fight. In that moment, in Hyper, unfortunately, just too aggressive, took the engagement on Eco, and ultimately ended up paying the price for it. 4 more games to go, 2 are down. Arigel, Miramar have been played. We will revisit those maps. In fact, we're going to be hopping into map number 3. We're going back to Arigel, where Royals of War started off very strong with 8 eliminations and the winner chicken dinner. Will we get a repeat of that? We'll find out when we come back from the break.
Hello everybody, I'm White Allergy, I'm from SLR, and we are here to ready start the 2nd week. Let's cheer for us. Thank you guys.
Who will be the champion of PMSL Americas?
Alpha 7.
Who will be the 4 teams that qualify to the PMWC?
Alpha 7. 太阳
I'm probably going to say Alpha 7, Titan Gaming, and maybe Team Liquid, and us.
Alpha 7, Team Liquid, HP, influence
Who will be the best NA team?
NHP，因为他们是受邀队，代表他们是一个很有经验的队。
So he said it's probably going to be NHP because he thinks they are the partner team. That means they are very experienced and have a lot of in-game knowledge. Personally, I think it will be Titan Gaming because they have proven themselves through the American qualifier in North America region. They went in the phase 1 and phase 2 back-to-back with a huge gap to second place.
And Hyper? And Hyper.
Who will be the best LATAM team?
I think it will be All Glory Gaming because they have super powerful gun skills. I like that team a lot.
And CQ 吗 ？DQ CQ。
else. Like let's use this as the ultimate form of a training arc.
Yeah.
Right? Because it really is. Like you can't get this level of training in scrims.
No, you
can't get that experience. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, all right, guys, our entire gameplay is not working. Everything we did to get up to this point, it's not going to cut it. We need to level up. We need a time skip, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do different, right? How do you utilize that training arc? I'll tell you how you don't. You keep doing the same thing.
Yeah, you can't. Right? You can't be. I mean, a broken record only plays the same thing, you know. And SLR stuff like that, we're seeing kind of, you know, a few like glimpses, but this isn't a 3-day event. This is 15 plus days of competition, 90 games. Even if you have one solid day, we're seeing a lot of the teams on the leaderboard, especially in that bottom 8, like Hyper, Titan Gaming, NRG. They have one solid day, but the other 4 days are pretty trash in my eyes. That's why the likes of Alpha 7, like Team Liquid, like you said at the start of the broadcast, Jukes, they have a solid bonus points day, and then every other day they do tremendously well.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's the thing is the consistency, right? Like Team Liquid, Alpha 7, you can just tell the difference, right? It's just a massive difference from the rest. You know, Rules of War, all the way down to, I'll say, Influence Rage, right?
Yeah, okay.
They're one step below, you know?
Yeah.
They're one step below where it's like, all right, you know what? Just a couple little tweaks, and they're there, you know? I would say Fudia on down, probably some major tweaks need to happen.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, let's do something totally different. Let's utilize this time to put in work. I mean, the hard part about it is even Fudia on down, they could still make third place, right?
Yeah.
So you got to still play the same game. And Hyper on down, that's some changes need to be made for sure, unless it's your double points day. If it's your double points day, do everything you can to go all out. Find something that works, right?
Yeah, I mean, Hyper, they've got roughly a 25-point gap, if I'm reading this correctly, and then we're looking at NRG, that next drop-off, 13th place, almost 30 points back from 12th, so these teams right down at the bottom, unfortunately, a lot of NA names we're seeing and stuff like that, a few Latam and Brazilian teams. It's just, at some point, you've really got to start having a realization of, like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, let's lock in. Let's start getting the coach in there. Obviously, Titan Gaming has Juancho and stuff like that. Now we've seen, in my eyes, a pretty good change on that first Erangel match, but it's got to be more than one game. It's got to be the whole week of change, and it's just a matter of if these teams can have that sort of marathon mindset instead of a sprint.
Yeah, even if you're a team like SLR, like if you're a team like SLR, I mean, big bummer that Kindness is not here. Right?
Yeah,
that's a big loss. So let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
But if you're SLR, you can't just hope that Kindness is going to show up, you know?
Yeah.
I know we're hoping that he's able to, travel, get there, and we'll see him one day in this tournament. But, I mean, if not, still, right? Utilize this time. Be like, all right, we didn't expect this to happen. We don't have one of our major players. But how do we get on without him, right?
Yeah.
And okay, this crazy split looting, losing players early on, taking those risks, it's not working. Let's not risk it.
Yeah, it's
right.
not.
Let's decide to loot together. Yeah, it crushes our timing. It puts us behind. But isn't that better? To go into zone just a little later as a 4-man than as a 2-man.
Yeah, and I mean, it comes down to, I think, just their level of confidence in the game right now. It's really just lacking from them for the most part. Solar, obviously, they have Koi, who's been able to have his pop-off moments, but I think without having Kindness there, you said it the best. It's just too big of a mental blow. Maybe they're not comfortable with their sub and stuff like that, which that's another thing that we haven't really talked about much is the direness of the team being cohesive even with a substitute. We've seen already teams like from Latam, like South America and stuff like that where they've already changed their rosters every once in a while. And yeah, maybe it didn't work, but they're still putting up decent numbers compared to us.
Yeah, yes they are. Oh boy, well you can see the level 2 helmet busted up, buys into your name. SLR definitely going to have to loot up. I do like to see them looting a little bit closer together, though. This is good. If they had one single player here, that would have been rough. So you can see Juan holding the spot, maybe just trying to catch All Glory Gaming on a rotation. But even this is not a good fight to have. This is not a good fight to have at all this early. So SLR, just keep looting and moving. This is not, yeah, I'm not too sure. What do you think about this?
I mean, I like their spot, but I don't think you've really realized it yet, Jukes. Koi is like all the way up on Potato Hill. He's not even with his team. Like, if AGG was really to kind of read the room of it, they're like, oh, they came from that north side. What's the chance that there's someone still up there? Luckily, we talked about it, giving away your position early on. Koi, I don't think is shot yet. But with it being so early on these teams, they have a little bit of wiggle room. I'm seeing on the map feed. I'm seeing on the map feed and stuff. Like Team Liquid, no one's holding them. I'd honestly would like to see NRG maybe hit a bridge camp on Team Liquid one of these games, but for the most part, that kind of comes back to, are you confident taking a 4v4 against this team? Because if you give the opening knock, you're going to be in for a world of hurt from this team.
Yeah, I just don't understand, SLR, what they're doing right now, period. Frank. And the reason why is because, this is zone 1. You have so much time to be able to pick your spot. Yeah, I think Potato Hill is a lot better of a position than that building. Yeah. That's for sure. Especially if the zone starts even going in this direction. Koi knows it's free, right? So the rest of the team, you need to find a way to get there, right? And you could easily cross through so many different sides. Yeah. Now you got Koi trying to find another location. I just don't understand where their mindset is.
It's just, I think maybe they're just grasping for straws. At this point, they're kind of just like, let's just try this out. There's no real, in-depth
split. That's
on where do you even say that? South of Farm, towards kind of Sharkfin, I guess you could say, almost to the west of that.
Is he expecting the zone to go down to Sosnovka? I just don't even know what you're doing in that position at all.
If it does go towards Farm, they have a great position, but it could also go towards Rozhok. It could go towards Mount Everest even on the north side, but for them, it does.
Okay. Never mind. I know nothing.
Yeah, we know nothing. We're just
I know nothing. That was a beautiful, beautiful rotation. And now he's leaving it to go back to his team because guess what? They're not there.
Yeah, they're not. And then you got to worry. We saw Team Queso move immediately from Pichinki Hill on the south side. We're looking at Team Liquid coming in, and Hyper's now full sending it in towards this sort of docks compound on the center spot of zone, and all these teams, it's the great migration right now going on.
Yeah, here they go. So SLR are going to hold that compound down. Team Liquid are going to take that spot that we saw Haoxuan hold himself. And now 9Z is pressing SLR once again. So they're going to battle it out in this compound. Koi late to the party, right? He was coming all the way from Potato Hill. And we're going to, Dragon with a nice play. That's a big 1v2 there. Goes for the thirst. Can he get another? If that DPS was out, that would have been huge. But he's going to get eliminated. Koi is now just going to try to throw a smoke and keep his team up.
Yeah, no ammo in each gun. You really hate to see it, but for the most part, it was just Koi was too far away. Huozan maybe got caught on the rotation as well, forced to kind of play the outside. And 9Z just full slamming it as a 4-man. If you're not ready, that's a free elimination. And now we're seeing another team kind of turn their eyes towards it. I really expect, yeah, here we go. 9Z is not going to stop on just those 2 eliminations.
That was a shot from Koi. I'll tell you that right there. Double knock, time to push. And let's see how they decide to do that. Koi running out the back door. Going to be chasing down Choco. I mean, this is all Koi show at this point. I mean, Koi is by himself trying to put this team together. And with no first aids, he is forced to stay here.
It's tough. And Ozan, he's not pushing with them. Poison a 1v1 here, Jukes, on just little stairs here. Oh, man.
Can he do anything from this roof? The headshot. Koi can do this. Koi, all by his little lonesome, is just trying to hold SLR together here. And is he going to spot this? Oh, never mind. Jump shot comes out. Simple cannot see it. The shotty? No way.
I mean, it's 1v1, but he hasn't healed yet. No first aids on him either, Juke. So Wozon forcing this 1v1. But if you just saw your teammate get kind of fade-awayed with a pump shotgun, you're kind of really hoping not to push Wozon, though. He's now going for it. He heard him move back. Koi's got to be given all this information, and they got to be doing this fast.
Thirsts. Yep, thirsted. Oh, he runs. He survived? Wow. No way.
I think that was Furia.
For how long?
I think that was Furia third party.
That's what happens. That is what happens. The longer this fight goes, the third parties are coming.
Oh, man. And the zone shift, Jukes, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but Team Liquid, they're center zone right now.
Dude, imagine if all of SLR committed to that position.
Yeah.
You know? They would have had to defend it against Team Liquid, but Team Liquid wouldn't have been able to drive up for free.
Yeah.
You know?
They would have been stuck at those 1-stories on the west. We could see the map, but SLR, though, the fight's just about to be ending. 9Z, 1 HP. Wozan, he's forcing the sort of fight, but you got to get in the building. You're giving him a little bit too much wiggle room to maybe rat you out the pump.
Wozan, let's see what he can do against Simple. Is he going to go for the res on Koi? No way.
Wow.
No way.
1 frag.
No way. Simple. Oh, I thought he was going to pull it off. He waits, and Koi is going to get the res, or he's going to get res. For how long? Oh, no, he doesn't. He canceled it.
Oh, no, that's a butcher right there. You never want to be doing that in a fight. Thankfully for them, Furia hasn't made the move just yet, but Simple, he got a first aid. Now he's fully healed. It's just a matter if he can hit the 1 pump, and he's got the 3 gear, but he's actually taking the fight to the SLR solo. Now just pre-fires, but someone's got to win it in the jump shot. SLR wins it, but you could have been 2.
No way. No, don't do it. Don't do it.
He's about to stand up and look at him, bro.
Hey, let him know. Let him know who's better. Let him know who's better in last place. Let's see. Juancho getting beat up. That is going to be a little bit tough. Trying to get the heal off. This is right on the edge of zone. Team Liquid, they knew this was the best spot to hold. And they had the entire lay of the land. And here comes NRG. Balah's going to try. Oh, I thought he was going to go for the pickup on Spec. Man. Instead, drives around. And now they're getting bodied by not Entity 7.
That's a solo in zone. If he picks them up, 2 of them make it out, and maybe they don't recognize Fate stays there. But, I mean, the DP spray is just too deadly. Now NRG, they're on the back foot. While that was going on, too, it looks like N-Hyper's down to a solo on the south side. So a lot of our NA teams, unfortunately, losing a lot of these early game fights.
Oh, yeah, NA just getting decimated right now. Titan Gaming still up. They're going to be the hope right now for North America in this game on the edge of zone. But they're going to have to hold it down against Death Wolves because Death Wolves are coming.
Big nade.
Oh, so close.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's inactive as well, being the first knock and thirst from the Death Wolves fight. Redox, they're hitting some nice damage, but unfortunately, no one going down just yet. You also got to worry about, though, they got the solo, actually, of N-Hyper. So, nice play from Titan Gaming, but you got to worry about Team Liquid. You got to worry about AGG starting to move on you, because this isn't just a 3v3 fight anymore.
Yeah, if you notice that AGG is on the lookout, just delay the fight. At this point, both these teams are going to focus on AGG.
Yeah.
Wait it out. Because, if you fight, you're getting thirsted. Oh, the zone does hard shift onto Team Liquid away from AGG, but it's not necessarily a hard shift. It's dead center. Alpha 7 and Team Liquid, the 2 top teams, looking very good. Death Wolves now starting to get this battle going against Titan Gaming, and they definitely need to.
Yeah, and the scary thing is just there's a lot of water in play, and for the most part, if you choose to play on the land, it's mostly just flat ground, or else you're going to be playing right underneath both of the top two teams in the lobby. So Titan Gaming, they got to not only worry about this fight with Death Wolves, with the fight with AGG, they somehow got to still get into the next zone.
And let's see how they decide to do so. If you're Titan Gaming, you either have to push Death Wolves or push Death Wolves. You have no choice at this point. Literally, yeah, you run out in the open, Team Liquid's going to pick you apart.
Oh, and look at this. Since they're fighting, they couldn't even take the spot in zone. They were holding for Furia, opting to go in, but Influence Rage, is he going to low toss that? Oh, man, if he didn't get that stuck. Oh, here we go.
High low toss.
Here we go. Ooh.
Single Bells try to get the bounce, can't do it. Little boy still holding that rock position. He's got that S12K ready to go. He's saying, hey, don't you even think about crossing this way. Melgar is making it more difficult from All Glory Gaming. Never mind, Adrian. Yeah, down to 1 HP. Barely getting that elimination. That's Influence Rage out.
Yeah, the big thing was he waited for his teammate to get healed. Kayowski ran up and peeked over the top. So that idea of the two teams, or the two players kind of peeking at the same time, reaping rewards. Fury, though, now they're starting to get rained down. AGG actually opted to go down the roadside and focus on Furia. It's a matter of Kayowski's able to give support or not here.
Yeah, let's see what happens here. Is All Glory Gaming going to be throwing those long nades? The door's open now for Titan Gaming to push in this area. They can. Team Liquid does no longer has the open sight lines as they once did.
Yeah, and I mean,
due to all the action that's happening, and you can see Petrino looking to be a thorn in the side of so many players. Got to give it up to Melgar. 5 eliminations so far by himself. His man's putting in work.
Yeah, I mean, 8 for the squad, and this team, I mean, they're able to find these spots in zone. Hopefully, they're able to keep the vehicles alive. That's kind of going to be your saving grace into this next zone. I know just to the west of Team Liquid, there's a few dips you can maybe play. But we've seen it time and time again with these Brazilian squad streaks. The utility usage is on point. So you're wanting to make sure that if you get into one of those kind of nook and cranny spots, that you're not going to be just rained down from the Goliaths.
All right. Well, Death Wolves decided to push it to the water. So they avoided the fight with Titan Gaming.
Wow.
And now Titan Gaming has a route inwards. But, now the eyes are focused on them. Ayala has shifted his way to this area, and he's going to be popping some shots right at door, and bop, 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 goodbye.
Thank you. I mean, that wasn't even Ayala getting. That's 2 players scoping you down. You're never making it. I do love the play from Death Wolves, though. They opted, we're just going to swim. No one's even looking at him. Yeah, and now with Titan Gaming, obviously Juancho and Redox made it in, but if you're a duo in this spot, you're forced to use the vehicle. You're only going to have 1 gun shooting at this point. Is it really even worth to be in the spot?
They had no choice. They really did, unless they decided to go for a water play. And the next zone does pop. Yeah, it centers up even further. Team Liquid now doing a very, very bold split, but they have so much coverage on this ridge line, and it's all open field, so they can afford to do this split. Meanwhile, let's see. Death Wolves! Sneaky, found a way on up. And now, Team Liquid in a little bit of trouble here.
Oh, yeah, that's a
lot of trouble.
This is an amazing play from Death Wolves. A little bit of Kobe's coming out, too. A little bit too far, but Death Wolves, they made the swim play. They were able to get up, and now Furia, I think, has recognized that, starting to peak from their side. Mythic's in for a world of hurt right here.
Done. Yeah, so that 2-2, even then, even if you're Team Liquid, right, these splits can still cost you.
Yeah, and I mean, look at this. No support either. Chief is just way too far. I think they were trying to accumulate as many points as possible. Maybe they thought people would make those kind of do-or-die sends into the water, but everyone decided to just swim it.
That split was so good, considering that this is all open area. It would have worked, but they just did not expect Death Wolves to be able to get up from that position. Well, I'll tell you what, they learned that one right there. I think a lot of teams are going to pick up that strategy because that was a strong play from Death Wolves.
Yeah, and the scary thing is Team K, so while that was going on, they hold those north compounds. That dip I was talking about, this is where they're at. They allowed another team to come in, take the spots with their vehicles, and then just absolutely rain terror with the frag. So really like the idea from Team Queso getting more cover out of other teams' vehicles. And now we're starting to see these other teams like Furia, they got to start working in the zone. This ridge is not going to be enough for you to play.
No, it is not. Let's see what Team Kessel can do. They're forced to play these little dips right here. This is so little coverage. And yeah, you need some vehicle walls.
That's
you need
a lot.
whole lot to make this work. Yeah, and they're barely able to do so. You can see Potro looking at that crate coming down, just wishing it was falling on him, but it is not. You go. Gonna take down Ayala right there from Team Liquid. That's that Thirst finally popping up. 375 points on the name of Team Liquid. That is insane. They're not out yet. Chief started to put in some work against Carrillo. Gets that initial knock. And there's still quite a few teams still alive here. Milaz decided to drive all the way to the other side towards Sosnaka and start swimming in from that area. So Milaz, the swim play, coming out for some good placement points.
I mean, it's good for the most part. It's at least better than nothing, but we're still talking top 8 teams in the lobby. Furia, now it's really a tough spot for them. They've got Death Wolves and Team Queso looking at them, and if you're a Team Liquid fan, you really wish that he had gotten the Thirst onto the Alpha 7 player, because that's the other team in the lobby with 4 players up. It's them and Team Queso looking like they might be the ones to take this, but with it being stage 5 near the water, this is almost like a stage 7 zone. Everyone is so close together, Hot Jukes, that it's just you got to really hit the utility when it matters most.
Oh, yeah. Who can hit it? And I'll tell you what, Team Liquid and Alpha 7 are on top when it comes to utility usage. Team Queso aren't in a bad spot here. They're in the open field. It's very difficult to navigate through, but they're holding it down.
Oh, look at
That's
that.
a 4-man. Oh, another zone. And it's going to go away, even further away from Alpha 7.
Yeah, I mean, but look, they already have Revo, the star player of Week 1, or MVP of Week 1, actually, that we were showcasing, being that kind of spearhead. The rest of his team, I'm hoping they actually make this a drive and not a walk around. Yeah, it looks like it, but Death Wolves now, they're getting active. This was the spot that they climbed up on Furia, just kind of funneling themselves into this spot. Now Team Queso coming from the back, so Furia in the same spot as Team Liquid 2 zones ago.
Team Kessel trying to utilize this to their advantage, but I like the fact that they're not trying to make too much noise here. They know that they're not in the best spot. Silence finally able to get to his teammate, and this is barely in zone. Oh, he's going to see
Wow.
He saw Carrillo driving by, and he was trying to make those shots happen. Alpha 7 working together as a squad, pushing up little by little. This is what you do, right? You don't just blind drive on into the middle and get taken out immediately. No. Pop out, push together as a team. And that's pretty much the only chance you got. Oh, but Team Kessel was too close for comfort. Team Liquid's in big trouble.
Yeah, I mean, 6 frag grenades at the squad. Now he's getting beamed in the back, but he actually stays alive, cooks it in the molly. Doing work from the Team Queso squad. Mafioso as well, getting finished on the side. Team Liquid, oh man, here we go. Now it's the solo, and is he going to get knocked? Not yet. Down is just Chief for the squad.
Let's see, Chief popping that first aid. Oh, and Furia going to be the next team eliminated. Now we're finally going to get some placement points from here on out. Top 7 here. SLR with 1, or 3 teams with 1. Alpha 7 and Team Queso going to have the most players on the board. Very, very interesting. Don't count Death Wolves out as well. Even though they have a duo, they're in a really good spot here. It is anyone's game.
Yeah, I really like Death Wolves' spot because even though they're a duo, they're spread out enough with enough cover where I don't mind it, them playing solos. They're going for the sort of elimination plays, but you got someone like Revo staring at you, I wouldn't be too comfortable for the most part, but he might be able to spot it. It looks like he does, and for the most part, I think it's kind of a waiting game now.
Don't shoot. Yeah, don't shoot. Just wait. Because even if you get that knock, a Thirst is going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
Just don't even try to give any info. And it's kind of crazy. There's so much chaos that if you don't shoot, teams almost forget about you, even though they know they're there, right? They just there's so much going on. Your brain can only handle so much information coming on in. And if they don't hear shots there, the focus will switch. And if they forget about you, you have a huge opportunity to make a crazy, sneaky play.
Yeah, I mean, sneaky plays are kind of the name of the game right now because this nice overhead view, thank you, the observers, for showing that there's 4 solos basically either in the water, Jukes, or just hugging you right underneath the cliff. So if you saw what happened with Team Liquid, they dropped down, everyone started shooting them immediately. And for the most part, you're not wanting to get stuck. The zone isn't going to finish, it's going to be on land, and if you got to worry about even your back, kind of like what happened with Game 1 for Team Liquid, I think that's why they're kind of looking at the water so much. little bit of PTSD going on. But the zone shift goes to the right side there, Jukes. Team Queso with all the room in the world.
Hey, it's time to start focusing towards the center, buddy. You got to start swimming. There's 38 seconds on the clock. You can't be playing this edge.
Yeah, no.
Papa Blue's going to start punishing you.
Well, it might be slow enough he could go in, but the issue is
no, he can't.
When you start swimming, people are going to be able to see you a lot easier if you're near the blue zone, so...
He has to start swimming. He's not going to be able to. Blue zone will catch him. Trust me. Papa Blue runs in quick. He is on the thick side of the zone. That zone is going to be brushing past him. Okay, now he's starting to move, and he's starting to realize that, oh, you know what? I don't got a lot of time here. So he's starting to make that swim, but I think it's a little bit too little too late.
Yeah.
For Entity 7 there. So let's see if he's actually able to make it into the zone. What do you think? Do you think Papa Blue's going to catch him?
I think he'll make it. It's just a matter if he actually makes it in from blue zone, or if maybe Death Wolf spots him in the water. I'm seeing him kind of look.
I don't think so.
I'm seeing him look back and forth, Jukes. I think someone's going to shoot him before he reaches it, but Team Queso now, they're starting to rain terror. Alpha 7's the team that has to work in here, Jukes, and it looks like a monumental task right now for the squad.
Oh, yeah. But, Alpha 7, this is what they do best. They love playing under pressure. Even if it's wide out in the open, they make cover for themselves. So let's see what happens here as the zone is starting to close. Those solos putting in work. There. Oh, Potro getting caught from the back finally, but then Carrillo saves him. There, and back and forth happening. Oh, it's actually just Carrillo left for Alpha 7. He's going to start going for these reses. Those smokes perfectly placed, but one nade could rule them all.
Yeah, I mean,
M2M, 4-3. Goodbye, Alpha 7!
Wow. And I mean, for the most part, McGurlin had a knock, but 4 players just staring at you is way too much for Alpha 7 to handle. Getting dismembered by the Team Queso squad. Now we see, I believe it's, Entity 7 getting eliminated as well. And if you're these teams, you're looking at how do we get 6th place? There's still so many solos left in the lobby, Jukes. Team Queso might just start picking everyone like they're berries.
Oh, they're going for it. I think they're the only team on top now. They're big chilling. All these other players forced to just kind of survive here. I mean, SLR is still even in the mix. All the way at last place, Milaz gets taken out by Rado Boy. That is going to be it. So, up on top, it's just Team Queso and the Death Wolves. So you got to be careful there, Team Queso. I know you're trying to focus inwards, but you still got to worry about this team up on top.
Yeah, I'm worried about if the north player of Team Queso kind of gets spotted out. He's playing, I think, just that sort of snake angle. It's close enough in this late game where you don't de-render the grass and make it easy to spot players. These teams right now, I mean, I like the idea of looking down, but I'd honestly be focusing my sights still on the Death Wolves, because if you eliminate them now, you're able to pick up the solos immediately after.
Exactly.
You don't have to worry about these kind of weird off angles getting you, but to be honest, I'm kind of wanting to see Chief take the 1v1 here. It's SLR.
I mean, I want to see Team Queso just full send it. I mean, you have to know that they're low if you're keeping any track, but sometimes, like I said, your focus can be so much. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they think there's still a 4-man up here. That's why they're being so careful. But if they did realize they're in a 4v2, they should just, focus up Death Wolves, take them out, and it's an automatic chicken dinner.
Oh, here we go. Now we're going to see.
This is dangerous.
Oh, the spray through. Doesn't matter, but do they know there's another solo down there, Jukes? That's the question.
And it's Team Liquid, of course, right? The last remaining solo.
Oh.
It's gotta be Chief. Chief on the run now. He's shimmying. He's popping some shots. He got a knock. No way. I'm telling you, it's dangerous. Potro. Now on the look up. Can Chief survive? He makes it. No way.
Can he move, though? Oh, no.
The molly. And now he's gone.
You got to use everything on the man, but if you're Death Wolves, you got to push now on this. And no, one of them fell. How are you doing that? Oh, no.
Use your claws, buddy. You're a Death Wolf. Use your claws. Howl towards the moon. Never mind, Obscure said I'm coming down with you. We are out of here. And now Self-Molly, second place, secure the placement.
I mean, great play, Team Queso. They have that northern compound. Nice winner chicken dinner from them. Being able to really apply pressure with how much kind of zone space they were given from Alpha 7 and Team Liquid. But, I mean, is it really a shocker for us, Jukes, at this point to say, Team Liquid makes it into the top 3 yet again?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a shocker at all. It's just so crazy to see the consistency from these squads. They've been putting in work all day long, and that's something I really like to see.
Yeah, I mean, the consistency is all about it for the most part, but we got to really be asking Taylor the question right now. Were you really thinking Team Queso was going to show up today?
Team Queso always has a chance to show up. They're a team that's been in conversation since really, I think, day 2, right? Team Cheese.
Yeah.
They're the roster that makes things happen. Team Queso, very impressed with their performance in game number 3 on Aaron Gale. I mean, after all, winner chicken dinner, but also 10 eliminations, which I believe is close to the top. Actually is the top eliminations for today. So well done from them. And they did so by taking I thought, the competitive end of the final stages. So honestly, I thought Death Wolves was going to have a great opportunity at a certain point, given the fact that they took over position right before Team Liquid, but also that they had the edge of the mountain, which was kind of like the dead end of the zone. So I thought they were going to get really nice pop shots onto the teams trying to rotate in, maybe an opportunity for third parties, but Death Wolves would ultimately fall into second place. So they did at least a little bit of something, which I was happy to see. But overall, great game, I think, for a multitude of teams. Hot Jukes, a rare stat. Every single team had at least one elimination.
Let's go, right? I love to see that. Everybody putting in work, everybody sinking their teeth into the game. There's no worse feeling than going out so early, right? No eliminations, and just having to sit for over half an hour and just wait in order to get your hands warm again, So the fact that every single team was able to get at least one elim is a good sighting, right? I think we're starting to see some teams warm up. I think we still saw a lot of obvious mistakes, Taylor, right? That's for sure. Which one do you think really stood out to you the most?
Obvious mistakes, I think, leaving Team Liquid alive as long as they did. You got to take them down whenever you possibly can. Mythic staying alive as long as he did was actually truly impressive. But I do think there was a wasted opportunity for Death Wolves to capitalize on that back end when they were going against Team Liquid. I would like to see them maybe pursue a little bit. I don't know. Nick, but what were you thinking?
I mean, for the most part, it's just some of these plays, we get to see all the angles from our side because we're the casters and stuff like that. But in their mind, I don't see it too much as too big of an error. My main error was kind of that Titan Gaming situation on the East. They let Death Wolves get all the way around them. They let AGG get into the zone. It was too much of a cluster in my eyes on that eastern part of the zone.
So AGG, where did they finish off? All Glory Gaming, 8 eliminations. In my opinion, a very good game from them, capitalizing off the mistakes you said. Death Wolves, though, South Molly dropping themselves. Let's talk about that. Smart play. Should they have fought Sadia? What are you thinking, Hot Jukes?
Oh, man. I mean, I think they definitely should have. It's so crazy to see that, regardless, right? Death Wolves putting up 14 points is a solid performance, right? We got to talk about those baby steps, right? And, I mean, at the end of the day, I think they're still the team that has the most elimination performance in this tournament, right? They had 19, right? Yeah, so we know that they can pop off, right? To see them come back here on Wednesday is a great sign, right? Because now these teams, they understand what's at stake. They understand the value of the double point stage. So to have, all cylinders firing on Wednesday is just great.
Sure, and 15 eliminations for the day as well, which is great. Placement points, obviously, getting first place here was the highest they've gone today. Outside of that, Team Queso finished off in 11th